Ladies and gentlemen, if I may get your attention, please, I'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session of Thursday, October the 29th, 2015. And again, let me at this time ask for Pastor Ashley Buckner of the Atlanta Revival Center come forward and open us with the invocation. And then after that, I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Carl Pope to lead us in the pledge of the flag. If we'll all stand at this time, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the blessings that you've given us. I thank you for the members of the council, the city manager, the chief of police, their staff, and their people here who are dedicating their time and their energies to make Douglasville a better place. Lord, bless the decisions they make tonight, Lord, and guide them every step of the way. We thank you for them. We pray that you bless them abundantly and with overflowing blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated, please. Next item on the agenda, I'd like to go over the protocol for tonight's meeting. Again, I'd like to welcome you to the City of Douglasville's legislative work session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken on the items discussed tonight on Monday, November the 2nd at 7:30 p.m. The business you are here to discuss is not listed as an agenda item. There will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates section to discuss your business. There are now a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start tonight's meeting. I ask that you listen closely so there's no misunderstanding about how tonight's meeting will be conducted. I ask that you keep your comments and your presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make their decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the chambers and the premises for the evening. Only one person will be talking at a time, and please do not applaud or react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, carry on the conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. I will remind you that we are only required to accept public comments on zoning matters, and we are not required to accept public comments on any other items before this council body. We accept public comment on all items because we believe it enables us to make better decisions, but we will maintain order. As the chair of this meeting, at any time during this meeting, I'm prepared to stop public comment on any agenda item if I feel or believe that the general good of the meeting or will not benefit from actions being taken by a member or members of the audience. If you have a pager, cell phone, or other electronic device, I ask that you either put them in the silent mode or turn them off, power them off at this time. Agenda items will be handled as follows. Committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then the person representing the agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation first, and that will be the only opportunity for you to present information. Then the mayor and members of council will possibly ask questions of the applicant or seek additional information. After that, the committee chair will ask for comments or statements from the audience. Then there's a maximum time limit of 30 minutes for those who speak in favor of the agenda item. The applicant's presentation is included in this time allotment. Those who speak in opposition to the item will have 30 minutes. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. I ask that you fill out one of the sheets that are at the double doors that you entered coming into this chamber. Then provide that sheet to the Madam City Clerk to my right when you approach to speak. When you come to the podium, please provide your information form to the Madam Clerk. Tell her if you're speaking in favor of or against the project. Then please state your name and address for the record, and then proceed with your comments. Each person has one opportunity to comment on each agenda item. No reappearances if you think of something that later that you forgot or did not say initially. This meeting is not a question and answer format. This meeting is not a debate format, but a format that gives you an opportunity to make public comment on the respective agenda items. Please address your comments to the chair, not the members of the audience or the applicant or the city staff. If your information is repetitive of information presented earlier in this meeting or any other meeting on this matter, there's no need to present the same information again. If your information is repetitive, I will remind you, then request that you move on to any new information you are prepared to present. Our policy requires that printed information used for review be submitted in advance and included in each council member's work packet. Therefore, I ask that you do not pass out or distribute additional information to the council. This also includes a citizen comment period. Are there any questions about the protocol for tonight's meeting, or is there anyone that does not understand the protocol for the meeting? Mr. Osborne?
Mr. Mayor, would you restate the starting time for the meeting on Monday, November the 2nd?
That will be at 6 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I was reading from an older version of that where it was at 7:30. Thank you for catching that for the record. Okay. At this time, we will go to the agenda item, Public Safety Committee. I ask Chair of that committee, Councilman Davis, if you'll bring public safety forward at this time, please, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I have one item, and it's item A, appoint Julie C. Hudson to be the City of Douglasville representative on the Douglas County Annual Animal Control Advisory Board, serving 2 years term. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to put this on a consent agenda for Monday if it's the council pleasure.
Mr. Osborne, you have a comment?
Yes, sir. Of course, Ms. Hudson has been serving and her term has expired. What we will have for your action on Monday is that we'll show this as serving as a 2-year term that would run through November 2nd, 2017. Okay,
we'll bring it back on the agenda for Monday for discussion then,
okay? You can put it on the consent agenda. I wanted you to be sure of what the wording was going to be, whatever y'all's pleasure is.
Council's pleasure on placing that on the consent agenda? Appears to be in order.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that report, Councilman Davis. Next item on the agenda is Community and Economic Development. I ask the chair of that committee, Councilman Adams, if you'll bring your committee forward this time, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Community and Economic Development has 2 items. The first is to authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents required to accept and administer the $462,200 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, with such grant number as 15HX04825796 from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, including all terms and conditions, special conditions, drawdown of funds, request forms, required quarterly and annual reporting documents, and to sign such other documents as may be required to accept, administer, and execute the grant. Mr. Lynn?
Yes, sir. You do recall we did have a special called meeting a couple weeks ago regarding this. After some discussion with Ms. Littlefield, we thought it best bring it back to you to be comprehensive in the types of documents that the mayor would be authorized to sign for the grant. Just to kind of, the annual reporting documents, quarterly reports, drawdowns, any, general conditions, special conditions that may come up, just to be comprehensive so that we don't have to come back every time there may be a document that needs to be signed. There's some samples in your packet an actual drawdown request that has been submitted by our consultant, the actual signature card that'll show who's authorized to sign those drawdown requests, and then just the conditions statement and the special condition statement, which only deals with one property in the grant for special conditions, because it's one thing's not like the rest of them. There's one that's a reconstruction and the rest are rehabilitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that we had discussed that at the last public hearing you're speaking of as to what were the special documents that may have to be added.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you've included those.
I haven't, and I apologize. I was a little confused last time.
Problem. We've discussed this several times in committee, and it's ready to take it to a vote on Monday night. I would like to put that on the consent agenda if it is appropriate.
Council's pleasure. Appears to be in order.
Thank you. Item B, reappoint Douglas H. Dean to the post 7 position on the City of Douglasville Development Authority, CDDA, for a new 4-year term extending through July 23rd, 2019. Is there any? Yes, Mr. Osborne.
I was just going to point out, we had talked about this about 3 weeks ago, and he serves as chairman of the authority at this time. His term has expired, and we would like to see you formally reappoint him.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion on that item? Any public comment? I'm sorry I didn't ask on the other item. If not, I'd like to place that on the consent agenda also.
Council's pleasure. Appears to be in order.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all we have under Community and Economic Development.
Very good. Thank you for that report, Councilman Adams. Next item on the agenda is the Planning and Development Committee. I chair that committee, Mayor Pro Tem Pope. If you bring your committee forward, please, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, one item tonight, request for approval of revision to a final plat for the purposes of combining tracks 678-182-0001, 678-182-0004, and 679-182-0002 into a single tract located at 1211 Thornton Road in land lot 678 and 679, District 18, Section 2. Justin Story here. The application by Southern Cornerstone. Come on up. And the purposes of combining these lots are, what is it?
Justin Story at 3255 Cumberland Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia. The purpose to address or to combine these lots is to continue with our development and ultimately get approval through the City of Douglasville. We intend on putting a racetrack at that corner that had came through the mayor and council previously, probably sometime last year,
Okay.
or earlier this year.
Any comments from the council or questions? Anybody wish to speak for or against it in the audience? You come back on Monday and we'll vote on it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's all we have, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that report, Mayor Pro Tem Pope. Next item on the agenda is Parks and Recreation Committee. I chair that committee, Councilman Yaki. Do you have any business to bring forward at this time?
No items tonight.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is Finance Committee. I chair that committee, Councilman Adams. Would you bring your committee forward this time, please, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one item under Finance tonight. Adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville General Fund budget for fiscal year 2015 and 2016. Ms. Callen, are you going to review that for us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You'll see this is our first quarter budget amendment for general fund. The first group of numbers are our revenue line items. The first line is prior year appropriations, and that is when the budget was approved in the prior year, but the invoices aren't paid until the current fiscal year. Those are usually invoices that occur or that items that happen in June or July, and we don't get that crossover fiscal years. The group of invoices or encumbrances that we'll need to bring forward are at the bottom group. It says encumbrances carried forward, and those are office cubicles in the finance department. JD Football Kent, and that's the sod. The Hertz is actually for West Pines, not Jesse Davis. Bennett corrected me on that after it was already loaded, but it's for the, getting ready for the West Pines storage shed. A real mower at West Pines, and then we are holding an invoice on our One Solutions program. It was budgeted in the last year, but they still have not met all the deliverables at this time, so we're holding the invoice, and we'll need to bring the budget forward. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. The next group is reimbursement from WSA, $8,000. I think you probably remember that. It's for the Campbellton Street. Then we had a $4,000 reimbursement for HR from Kaiser. And you can also, as you look through the expenses, you can see the corresponding entries that offset that. If you have any, if you want to glance down and have any specific questions on any of those, let me know.
Anyone have any question? Any comment or question from the public? Thank you, Ms. Callen. Appreciate that. Mr. Mayor, we'll have that on the agenda for Monday night for a vote. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that report, Councilman Adams. Next item on the agenda is Information Technology Committee. I ask Chair of that committee, Councilman Yaki. Do you have any business to bring forward?
Items tonight.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Maintenance and Sanitation Committee. I'll ask Chair of that committee, Councilman Miller. Do you have any business to bring forward at this time?
No business tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Transportation Committee, and I'll ask Chair of that committee, Councilperson Danley. Do you have any business, or if you would bring your business forward at this time, please, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item. Authorize the mayor to sign an application for the City of Douglasville to apply for the Georgia Department of Transportation Local Administrative Project, LAP qualification, recertification agreement, approval to manage certain local GDOT projects with ACOM Technology Services Incorporated being designated to serve as the city's manager. Ms. Wright.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Douglasville, in order to work on federally funded projects, must be certified, what they call LAP certified, Local Administered Project certified. And we were certified in 2008, and then Georgia Department of Transportation decided to ask everyone to get recertified, and now they're requiring that you get recertified every 3 years. So we're doing our recertification now, and then again, we will have to do it again in 3 years. Part of that process is that you have to have a PE on board who is taken the GDOT lap classes, and then you have to have a member of your staff who has been certified through the GDOT classes. And so we are going through that process now, and we should be able to submit this, hopefully, if it's approved, and then get our certification, and then we should be good for another 3 years.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Wright. That's the only item under transportation. I ask if it's okay with the council, the mayor and council, to put this under the consent agenda.
Okay. Council's pleasure? Okay. Is that all you have?
Yes, sir. All the items.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Councilperson Danley. Next item on the agenda is Personnel Organization Committee. I ask Chair of that committee, Councilman LaGuire, if you bring your committee forward this time, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one item. Adopt an ordinance to repeal Article 5, Division 3 of Chapter 2, the administrative ordinance regarding the Personnel Appeals Board, and amend various sections of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Ordinance to decommission the Personnel Appeals Board. I think we've talked about that a couple of times, but our HR person is here to explain any questions you may have on this.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. The item before you is a recommendation to change the ordinance and to eliminate the Personnel Appeals Board. As you know, the HR department conducted research on other local municipalities' processes to include their employee count and appeal level. In addition, we polled the City of Douglasville employees for their opinion on eliminating the board, and HR proposes that the city manager should be the final appeals process, which is the current growing trend, and that this recommendation will also strengthen HR operations. If there are any questions about the process or how we conducted our research, I'll be happy to take those at this time.
What kind of response did you get from the employees?
Honestly, we were mixed. There were some pros and cons that were mentioned from the employees. So we didn't have a majority. To be honest, we had about a split opinion from all departments. So there were some that were for keeping it, and there were some that were for eliminating it.
Anybody else have any questions regarding it?
How large was your sample on that?
We had about 20 to 25 local municipalities with comparable employee size to Douglasville and large employers as well. We also looked at data of their process, which was the majority of the city manager or the city administrator or county administrators, because we had some counties that were in there as well. And the majority was the appeal process stopped at that level.
From our employees, though, what was the?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What was the research or what was the sample size of our employees?
We sampled each department. I want to approximately we had about 50 responses of employees who willingly gave their opinion. So we had about 50 responses, and we did put it out there to everyone. All directors were charged with receiving feedback from their employees. So we took what we had and who was willing to give their opinions on it, and we were split. Any other questions?
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That all you have at this time, Councilman
We'll
McGuire?
vote on that Monday.
Very good. Thank you for that report. Next item on the agenda is Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee. I ask Chair of that committee, Councilman Davis, if you bring your committee forward this time, please.
Yes, sir. I have one item. Authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of agreement with the West Georgia Soil and Water Conservation District for local review and approval of erosion and cementation control plans. Mr. Osborne, you have a report?
Yes,
on
on Monday, you will have some committee meetings at 5 o'clock, and one of the items on that is what Councilman Davis has just read concerning this a memorandum of agreement with the West Georgia Soil and Water Conservation District, and we will have representatives here, including from WSA, to make a report, respond to any questions. They could not be here tonight, but they will be here for your 5 o'clock committee meetings on Monday.
Okay, we'll put it back on the agenda for further discussion on Monday. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that report, Councilman Davis. Next item on the agenda is Education Training Committee. And I will ask the chair of that committee, Councilperson Danley, do you have any business to bring forward at this time?
No business tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilperson Danley. Next item on the agenda is announcements and presentations. Mr. Osborne, are you aware of any that need to be made at this time, sir?
No, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the other business, and that is to change the time and date of the City Council Legislative Work Session from 6 p.m. on Thursday, December the 31st, 2015, to 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January the 5th, 2016, and change the time and date of the City Council regular meeting from Monday, January the 4th, 2016, to 6 p.m. Thursday, January the 7th, 2016, due to the New Year's Day holiday. Any comments? And Mr. Osborne, let's leave that on the agenda, not put it on the consent or anything, so that we get to reemphasize that again on Monday night, so that certainly our citizens will be fully aware of the changes that will be made.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to City Attorney. Mr. Dodson, do you have any business at this time, sir?
No business, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Next item is Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Littlefield. Do you have any business to bring forward?
No business, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Next item is City Manager, Mr. Osborne. Do you have any business?
Just two or three things, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council had just mentioned the 5 o'clock series of committee meetings on Monday, November the 2nd. So if you'll keep that in mind, we'll be getting agenda information out to you tomorrow. And then, of course, that will follow at 6 p.m. with your regular voting meeting. A couple of things would like to mention to you that for your schedule, that the annual luncheon meeting that the Chamber of Commerce has to recognize elected officials, that will be coming up on Tuesday, November the 10th at high noon. That will be at Greystone Power. We'll send you a reminder notice, but keep that in mind for Tuesday. Luncheon Chamber, November the 10th at Greystone Power. And of course, I think it goes without saying, reminding those of us here tonight, but also those that will be viewing this on City TV, don't forget that Tuesday, November 3 is Election Day, and remind people to please, if you haven't already voted, to please do so. A couple of other announcements before I call on some staff people. On your schedule coming up on Tuesday, December 1st, will be our annual Employee Appreciation Day event. That will be from 1 to 3 p.m., 1 to 3 p.m. Tuesday, December 1st. Please mark that on your calendars. And also keep in mind, coming up is the 16th Annual Veterans Day Parade. That will be on Wednesday, November the 11th. You received the other day some information from City Clerk Vicki Acker, but would remind you and all of our viewing audience that this is a very special occasion. As I mentioned, this will be the 16th Annual Lighted Veterans Day Parade. The parade lineup starts at Douglas County High School at 5:30. The parade itself begins at 7 p.m., goes through downtown. Those of you who have been before know that we have a lot of our local ROTC units, a lot of other people that are in the parade. There will be a section of the parade designated elected officials saluting our veterans, so that any elected official is welcome to ride, walk, or drive in that section of the parade. There is no cost for anybody who wishes to be in the parade. If you would please make contact with the Douglas County Department of Communications and Community Relations, West Highland, at the courthouse. We will have 3 reports that will be made now that will conclude the city manager's report to you tonight, and I will tell you the order that these individuals will be coming up. First, you will hear from Jonathan Lynn, who will make a report on an event scheduled in downtown Douglasville this coming Saturday that you've approved. Following Mr. Lynn, you will hear from Bennett Oliver, Parks and Recreation Director, on the Hunter Harvest Fall Festival Arts and Crafts Show that's also coming up. And then finally, our police chief just got back from the International Association of Chiefs of Police in Chicago, where I saw that President Obama was among your speakers there, Chief. But the chief, on behalf of the city of Douglasville, received a special award that we want to tell you about tonight in our viewing audience. So if you gentlemen will come in the order that I've introduced you, and after Chief Sparks finishes his report, Mr. Mayor, that'll be the end of my report.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm just glad I don't have to follow the chief with what he's got going on tonight. We do have the Music and Arts Festival on the Plaza scheduled for this Saturday, October 31st. The event itself is scheduled from 10 to 6. There will be a street closure from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Church Street. It will only close Church Street from Price Street to Bowden. No other street closure will take place. The reason for the street closure is they will have vendors set up on the street. During that time, we have actually, reached out. Patrice Williams, our downtown development person, has talked to some of the businesses. We've also put it on the Main Street Facebook page. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. But just again, the street will be closed from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, Church Street between Price and Boughton, in both directions. This coming Saturday, October 31st, yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Good evening. I wanted to invite everyone out to Hunter Park this Saturday, which is the 31st, for our first Hunter Park Harvest Festival. This has turned into quite the event. We have 24 food and arts and crafts vendors that will be there. We'll have 4 moonwalks and a dunking tank for the kids, and I think they're still accepting volunteers for that, if anybody is interested. We'll also have prizes for the best costume, the best carved pumpkin, and also the best pumpkin pie. So, also the local Montessori school located on Dearly Lane, they will be having their International Food Festival from 10 to 2 inside the ballroom at the community center. So they'll have over 23 types of food from 23 different countries. So it's going to be a big day at Hunter Park. We invite y'all out. Y'all have any questions?
Talk to us about what happened at West Pines.
Today? Oh, well, we did receive the event tent. We actually used it today. Harvester had an event out there, so it certainly came in handy. So swing by, take a look at it, and see what you think.
Great.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, let me apologize, but I overlooked another person I wanted to come up first, and it's Captain Zach Artis. I know we had reported to you a couple of weeks ago on an exercise that was to take place. I saw a little clip on it on WSB TV this morning. Captain Artis, if you would come up and report to the mayor and council on that.
Zach Artis, 2083 Fairburn Road, Douglasville, Georgia, Douglasville Police Department. Just wanted to take just a few minutes and just update the mayor and council on our pod exercise that we had yesterday. Just to let you know that pod was done on Douglas Boulevard, as we had discussed, I believe, last week, directly in front of Arbor Place Mall. The exercise involved over 100 different participants, both our partners on the state level, county and local level, along with public volunteers, and also a group of KSU medical students, mostly nurses and pharmacists, that came out to help facilitate that. The exercise, what we did, we processed about 300 plus vehicles in the hour and a half that we were up and running that exercise. And so this type of pod was the first that was ever done in the state of Georgia. And so we took away a lot of positive things from it and a lot of things that we need to work on as we go forward. The overall exercise went very well, and we feel that it's a great opportunity for us as a stepping stone to be better prepared to serve the citizens of Douglasville and Douglas County in case there is a public health emergency, and this type of pod is needed in our community. But I did want to take it, before I get closing here, I did want to take a minute and just publicly thank several city employees and make you aware of their efforts that they did to make this pod possible and a success. And that is Mr. Greg Roberts and his crew. They did a fantastic job. And specifically Happy Howard and Corey Jackson, who came out with us in the very early morning hours to help set up barrels and cones and tents, and they did a fantastic job. And also Miss Chan Weeks, who made all of our signage and our banners. They were just instrumental in getting this done. It would never have happened without a concerted effort. And then finally, I just want to thank Miss Kelly Hunter and City TV and her staff. She has worked with us probably over the past year to try to push this information out to the community, to one, let them know that this is taking place, and then number two, how it's going to work. And so she and her staff have done a fantastic and a fabulous job over the past year working on social media through City TV and other avenues and resources that they have. But I wanted to make sure that this body was aware of the quality of employees that you have and the ability that they have to come together and see something through. And they did a fantastic job, and I just want you to know that. So.
Let me comment on that just a second. Not only did the event that took place yesterday, which involved quite a number of people, multiple jurisdictions and agencies and levels of government, both from the local level and the state level, but it was an excellent, excellent display of cooperation as it relates to the public safety and taking care of our community and our citizens. This was headed up by the Cobb Douglas Public Health, and the comments and the accolades that, first of all, Captain Zach Artis received from them, as well as folks from our local community. Jason Mulholland, who is the EMA director, said yesterday that he complimented the city and really all the agencies and made the statement that Captain Zach went above and beyond. Captain Zach was very gracious in complimenting the city and the employees and the great job that they did, but somebody had to head it up, somebody had to organize it, and somebody had to put it all together. And Captain Zach's been charged with that for the last 2 years, and it's been a very extensive process and 2 years in the making. So you were very gracious in complimenting everybody but yourself. So my compliments to you, and there were a lot of other people that complimented not only you, but the city staff, employees, and everybody that made it such a huge success. But with the coordination and everything that was going on with that, that followed right on the heels of several events that took place in the city on Saturday, starting with the Google Games and putting that together early morning on Saturday, right up till about 2 o'clock, the breakdown of that, cleaning up the streets, getting everything ready, and then the Halloween nighttime run or moonlight run, and then the chili cook-off where we had several thousand people on the streets of downtown Douglasville. And to my knowledge, I didn't hear of any incident that took place that was of a negative manner as a result of any of that. And I think that speaks well of certainly the cooperation that this community sees with many levels of agencies and our employees. So my hat's off to you, my compliments, and thank all of you for the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, one other thing on a different subject. We had a bunch of entering orders both in Chapel Hills and in tributaries. Did we ever? I heard we had a fingerprint lifted. Did we ever get anybody and lock them up for that?
Yes, sir. We have done some things on the patrol side to step up some enforcement in that area. I've been talking to my counterparts in investigations, and they do have several strong leads and suspects that they're actively pursuing. So just to ensure the public that we are actively pursuing folks. We do have some warrants on some individuals, and we are making progress in that area.
Great.
So we just ask for the public's help and patience. If they see something, we ask them to say something. So don't hesitate to give us a call. But we are actively pursuing some individuals in that.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, sir.
Y'all find any four-wheelers yet?
Yes, sir. We are still looking for four-wheelers. Yes.
Are we missing one?
Yes, sir. We are.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, thank you, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, City Manager.
Welcome home, Chief.
Excuse me.
Welcome home.
Glad to be back. Caught a little virus while I was up there, but I'm good to go now. But to piggyback on what Captain Artis was saying, the inter and auto persons that we have warrants on, none of them live here in the city of Douglasville or Douglas County. One of the guys has inter and auto warrant on him, and he has been arrested for inter and auto in another county and was released. We looking at every possible charge we could charge these individuals with, searching our web page and see if possibly we get some gang charges on them. But we're not the only ones that's receiving these type of crimes. Cobb County, you could double the ones that we've had to the one on west side of Cobb. So we have entered a pact with Cobb and other jurisdictions to go after these inter and all those suspects. Cobb, Douglasville, Atlanta, all of us, DeKalb, all of us experienced those type of crimes. So we got like a little task force going, and one of our guys is a part of it, and we carrying to them 2 warrants. We're gonna see if these warrants will meet the qualification for Metro Fugitive, to see if Metro Fugitive will go after these guys. Metro Future, they have a criteria. Mostly people that they go and arrest or people that commit really bad crimes, some of them robberies, murders, things of that nature. So we're going to try to see if our Metro Fugitive person will go after these guys. That don't mean it's going to stop when we get these two. That's just an easy crime to be committed. And if the people and the citizens don't take part in recognizing that they are the first line of defense and making sure their property is locked and secured and taking their property out of the vehicles that these criminals are looking for. Guns, computers. It's just a chance of the draw. They just go and pull on your door and handle and your car open. And people get home, you feel safe, been working all day, just rush in the house. They come out at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's that type of crime we got to put up with. So everybody just have patience with us. We gonna hunt them down. It may take a little while, but that's what we do best. Criminal investigation and proactive training and proactive enforcement, like Captain Ortis was saying. We changed some things around, which I'm not going to talk about on TV. So you may be listening. All right. While I'm here, I had an opportunity to go up to Chicago to the International Chief of Police Conference. I had no idea that behind my back, some of the Captain Stafford and Lieutenant Winkelpleck and Brandon and Corporal Nutter had put in for an award.
Have you talked to them about that?
I talked to them afterwards. They said they didn't want to let me know because if we didn't receive it, no harm, no foul. So since we received it, they walked in and said, guess what? We won the agency, the police agency award for civil rights at the International Chief of Police Conference. There were about, I'd say, 20,000 members at this conference. I don't know how many law enforcement agencies put in for this award, but we come on with the plaque. And it was a nice reception, and I guess we'll be recognized in their information booklet, as well as they say they're going to make some comments to the local news media. So it's a lot of hard work we've been doing for going on 9 years, and we put in for an award here in the state. We always came in second place. So we go international, and we come in first place. So you figure that. But some of this, we had a Georgia coalition breakfast, and
Chief, excuse me just a minute. Would you tell our listening audience, I know the elected officials know specifically what the award was for?
Okay, the International Chief of Police Award. It was for agencies that is doing work in the community to enhance the knowledge and information to its citizenry according to human rights. They really looked into our Police and You class, where we talk to young people and give them information as it relates to how to make a citizen-police contact more favorable. You see a lot of incidents throughout the country where these citizens and police contact are going into a person being killed. Well, we tell our kids how to negotiate that in a situation that will be forthcoming and better for them and better for the police officer. We give them a little information on what the police trains on, what our training consists of. We also give them a constitution so they'll know their rights. Every one of their constitutional rights. We train them on their rights. Then we tell them how to make a complaint, how to complain on a police officer. And we let them know that they are part of the community. This is how we find out who the bad polices are, through the citizens coming back and making complaints. But don't come and just don't come up there and tell no fib, because we investigate. Because you come in that line, it's going, well, maybe be a backlash. But we train our young people on this, and we train them on various other classes dealing with conflict resolution, decision and choice. Matter of fact, I got a class going on now. We're talking about how to study, how to gain the best information when you're at school. Where should you sit in the classroom? How to recall information that the teacher is teaching. Then we got another class tonight talking about being about that life. That's what some of the young people say. I want to be about that life. Well, we got a class talking about, okay, what about that life going to bring you? What's the pros and cons of being about that life? Are the pros that you being about that life going to help you maximize your potential? Or it's going to send you in one of these jails we got around here? So being about what kind of life? What you mean by that? So what we've been doing for the last 8 years is training our young people and adults when they come and getting them to understand the laws, the consequences of laws. We believe that warning comes before destruction. That we warn the kids of the destruction thing that they're doing when they're committing these crimes, maybe our crimes rate would drop, which we have seen a small drop. So we look forward and partner with some more agencies. I know the Georgia delegation said they would like us to come to the Georgia Chief of Police and present. So we have been to Macon and Warner Robins, Conyers, Atlanta PD. So, we're not trying to keep this to ourselves because we understand that crime knows no jurisdiction. So the better we put it out there to everybody else, join hands, the better we could help drop crime. We're also going into the school system. We'll be teaching the 9th grade class at Douglas County on some youth against violence classes that we have. And we'll make our way over to Stewart. So we'll get the kids at Stewart, understand the consequences of being involved in gangs, bullying, and things of this nature as they graduate and go to the high school. The 9th grade at Douglas County High School, they have them in one block. So we'll go teach the 9th graders, so when they get out on the full campus, the 10th, 11th, and 12th, they'll be able to make better decisions and choices and not let bullying or peer pressure move them toward a life where it's going to be destructive, when they should be down there building their self with a better education. So that's what it's all about. And it's been a rewarding opportunity for me to serve, and we accepted that that award for the men and women of the police department and the city of Douglasville. And I might add, it was just coincident, and he did a disclaimer. Well, the day before the award, I seen a guy that I was in the FBI Academy with. He's the chief of police in Arlington, Texas. And we was just sitting there talking, and I said, I'm going to receive an award up here, our police department. So he looked, he said, Douglasville, I'm the chairman of that board. I thought that when I read that information, I thought I had heard something about this before. But I presented some information when I was at the FBI Academy. But he didn't know. He didn't put it together till we just talked, but that was just a little thing to note. But that's what we do every Saturday, and we like for the people in the community to bring your kids 14 to 18 years of age, and like for the adults to come to the class. Some of them need to know the law. So that's what we do.
Questions, comments?
Chief, I've worked with the juvenile court and for years, and this program that you've been involved with, been dedicated to, is saving kids, has saved kids. So all the awards that you get, I mean, that's awesome. But you can see every day the tremendous impact that your program has had on the children here, and y'all need to be congratulated on that. And good job.
Other comments?
I just want to make a comment and say congratulations, Chief Sparks, on your awards. It's just one of many, I believe, that you will receive in the future. And just from my own personal experience, that when my daughter was transitioning to high school, the program was great for her, and she's off into college, and I just take my hats off to you all. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thanks again, Chief. You never know who knows you. I got a picture from up there. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was with him when he sent the picture. I had hurt my ankle, right? Out in the community trying to negotiate one of those wobble boards. I don't know what that thing is. But, the moral of this story is stay your lane. I don't care if you're out there trying to shake hands and make people happy and all that. But I got on the thing, and I'm doing pretty good, and I got ready to step off, and boop, twisted my ankle. So I go through the airport and having somebody push me in a wheelchair. And you can imagine all the police officers, hey, Sparks, it's all on YouTube, man, but it's all good. We made it. Yeah, it's so funny.
Chief, I just hope that the state associations now look and pay a little more attention to us. You said we've been coming in second place. Well, if you leapfrogged over the state association to go to national and win there, then hopefully they'll take a little more notice of it. I appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chief, we appreciate the hours that you put in on Saturdays. It's your own time. And I tell people, if you want to know where Sparks is on Saturday, go down to the police station and the headquarters, and he'll be down there with the kids.
Yes, sir.
And we really appreciate it. And when this election is over, I still want you to bring you and the command staff through Chapel Hills, and I want to go ring some of the doorbells in there. And
I think we got it next week or two. Maybe December.
you're going to be in Chapel Hills?
Chapel Hill, I don't know the exact one, but we'll be there.
Yeah, just give me that information because I'd like to go with you. That's all I have.
I'd like to add mine to it also, Chief. I'm not surprised that you wanted, because it is well known, those of us who had dealings with other police departments throughout the state have recognized that the city of Douglasville has one of the most respected police departments in the state. And I think you're a reflection of that. I think that's the award is was well earned.
Job well done, Chief.
Appreciate it. Now, I accepted this for the police department now. So it's about all of us. Y'all too.
I want to see you. I want to see you ride that.
Oh no, I'm done. I'm done.
Is that one of those just two-wheel things where you can just stand
Don't
it?
try it. Don't try it.
Oh, I tried it. I tried it. But I needed help.
You bypassed the security lines.
I did.
Other comments? One thing we've seen here tonight is, and it's been very evident, there's a certain amount of humility that has been exhibited, and that comes from serving and truly being a servant and serving the community and the people that you're here to serve. I think you see that from all of our employees. And Chief, 42 out of 52 Saturdays. 42 out of 52. Where are you?
At the police department.
Over there
Program.
at the public safety building in the community center from 8:30 till probably sometimes 3 o'clock.
10 to 2:30.
Yeah, it starts at 10 to 2, but I've seen you over there a lot earlier than that, and I've seen you a lot later with a car full of kids taking them home, right? So it doesn't end at 2 o'clock when it's over a lot of days, does it? And how much extra will we pay you for that?
Nothing. It's committed.
42 out of 52 Saturdays for the last 8 years. That's why the city got the award. Chief very humble about and did accept it on behalf of our department and the people, because there's a lot of people that help you get that done, but it takes the leadership and somebody has to lead. And we want to thank you for your dedication and sacrifice that you make personally to make sure that those kids' lives are affected and changed. And there's a reason why we don't have some of the gang activity that a lot of other communities have. And it starts with making sure that at a very young level that these young people know that there's consequences for your actions. And how many kids you think been through Youth Against Violence in the last 8 years, Chief?
500, somewhere around there, probably maybe a little higher. We averaging about 40 to 60, so.
A lot of kids. And then you got the ripple effect from their comments. So a lot of humility, a lot of dedication, a lot of service. But the other comment that was made in that if you come to Douglasville, behave, act right, treat our citizens right, we embrace you, right, Chief?
That's right.
Come to Douglasville, misbehave, mistreat our citizens, steal our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Our department's going to hunt you down. We're going to lock you up. And then, by the law,
Yes, sir.
and then our DA or solicitor is going to prosecute you. And then if found guilty, you're going to jail, right?
Sir.
And you're pretty serious about that, right?
Completely.
Not playing, are you?
100%.
100%. So you do a great job. Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. Thank all of our folks for
Yes,
what
sir.
they do. So
Thank
keep
you
up
all.
the good work. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Osborne, that it? Staff reports?
No staff reports.
No, okay. Next item is comments from citizens and delegates. Any citizens like to come forward? I see one coming forward. And I take it I see the form that you filled out. If you give that to the Madam Clerk, come forward with your comments, please, sir.
My name is Kevin McGuire. I reside at 3252 Bakewell Street, Douglasville, Georgia. Chattahoochee Riverkeepers publishes a quarterly newsletter. I'd like to read in part an article titled Developer Protects Heron Rookery Near Sweetwater Creek. This is from their fall 2012 issue on page 5. The largest heron rookery outside of coastal Georgia is located 25 minutes from downtown Atlanta. It sits on 27 acres of wetland, which is a part of a 300-acre tract of land that is owned by commercial developer Ron Orr. 40 platform nests support a rookery of 150 birds during peak breeding season. Herons depend on wetlands for foraging, treetops for nesting and breeding, and they remain vulnerable to habitat loss and human encroachment. According to Ron Orr, in the mid-2000s, construction activities on adjacent property almost destroyed these wetlands, choking it with eroded soil and disturbing the heron rookery. After years of litigation, Ron Orr states that he was able to abate the destruction and subsequently developed a plan to protect the rookery from future development. That was in 2012. In April of this year, Ron Orr submitted a planning application to the zoning board to have land parcel 0171-015-0001 rezoned. This is the same parcel where the heron rookery is located. This planning application went before the zoning board on June 2nd of this year. The zoning board voted 4-1 to recommend that the city council reject the application. After the zoning board meeting, planning director Michelle Wright arranged a meeting on June 8th with Ron Orr, his attorney Julie Sellers, Steve Rowe, Carl Pope, Michelle, and several residents of Tributary. The meeting was concluded with the intention that Ron Orr, at Carl Pope's insistence, was going to get a traffic study done for the Riverside Parkway corridor and to present that to Tributary residents to show the impact that is now on Riverside Parkway and what would occur based upon all the other issues intended for this corridor. At the June 11th City Council legislative work session, the City Council was to vote on the zoning request. An hour before the legislative work session, Ron Orr requested that his application for rezoning be removed from the agenda. In an article from the July 30th edition of the Douglas County Sentinel titled City Approves Development Plan for Riverside Distribution Center, it states that the City of Douglasville's Planning and Development Committee had approved a development plan for another distribution center along Riverside Parkway. The committee voted to approve the plan at a meeting earlier in the week. All of the committee members present at Tuesday's meeting voted to approve the development plan. Those members were Mayor Pro Tem Carl Pope, Mayor Harvey Persons, and Councilman Mark Adams. Committee members Councilman Larry Yockey and Councilwoman LaShawn Burr-Danley were absent. According to Community and Development Services Director Jonathan Lynn, the request from Tuesday's meeting didn't require additional uses in the zoning area It was relayed to the staff that that the use they were intending for these properties were already included in the text. Now Mr. Orr is being allowed to develop a distribution center on this property. This current development is closer to the rookery than the adjacent property that was being developed that almost destroyed the wetlands he fought to protect. Has Ron Orr done an environmental study to determine what impact the subsequent development and construction will have on the rookery? In conclusion, the city has a 27-acre wetland that is home to the largest heron rookery outside of coastal Georgia. Ron Orr fought development of adjacent property that was allegedly causing destruction of these wetlands. What is Ron Orr's plan to protect this rookery from his own development? Has an environmental impact study been done? Where is the traffic study that Ron Orr promised the residents of Tributary? We haven't seen it. The bridge over Sweetwater Creek was built in 1972 and last inspected in 2012. Did Ron Orr submit a new planning application? And can the existing Riverside Parkway corridor handle the increased truckload? The Riverside Parkway corridor has no illumination at night, as well as many blind curves. More residential traffic will now be competing with the increased truck traffic. Was any thought given to how the increased commercial development would affect residential property value? Thank you for your time.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. McGuire. Any other citizens like to come forward at this time with public comment? Hearing none, public comment is closed. Mr. Osborne, I believe you said there are no staff reports.
No, sir, we're through.
Very good. With that, no other business to come before this body. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.